Introduction: A Forgotten Legacy. In the year 1830, deep within the endless, shadowy forest near present-day Cincinnati, Ohio, lay a lonely log cabin. Encased in the dark embrace of the wilderness, the cabin stood as a forgotten relic, a place where sunlight feared to linger, and the wind whispered secrets through the trees. Few settlers remained in the forsaken region, and even fewer dared to speak of the man who lived there. Murlock. His name echoed in hushed tones, wrapped in mystery and dread. He was a man aged far beyond his years, though time alone was not his tormentor. A man broken by tragedy, Murlock was once young, strong, and full of hope. He had built the cabin with his bare hands and filled it with dreams of a prosperous life alongside his beloved wife, Eliza, a radiant soul with eyes like the autumn sky and a smile that warmed even the coldest nights. Their love was fierce and unyielding, defying the harsh wilderness itself. But destiny had other plans. One fateful autumn evening, Murlock returned from hunting to find Eliza burning with fever. Isolated and helpless, he fought to save her, but after 3 agonizing days, life slipped from her trembling fingers. Grief-stricken and dazed, Murlock prepared her body for burial with trembling hands. Every movement felt mechanical, his mind numb from the unbearable weight of loss. As darkness consumed the cabin, he whispered, "Tomorrow, tomorrow I will bury you, and this pain will end. But some pains are eternal." The night of horror. Exhausted, Murlock slumped into a chair by the crude wooden table where Eliza's lifeless body lay. Her pale face gleamed faintly in the dim candlelight, frozen in an expression of sorrow, or perhaps something else. Just as sleep's cold grasp enveloped him, a distant, blood-curdling scream pierced the night, a sound too human to be an animal, yet too inhuman to be a person. The scream echoed again, louder, closer. Murlock stirred but dismissed it as a trick of his frayed mind. The forest was home to countless wild beasts. He closed his eyes, surrendering to exhaustion. Then came the sound of soft, deliberate footsteps inside the cabin, bare feet brushing against the cold wooden floor. His eyes snapped open, heart pounding. He could see nothing but darkness, thick and suffocating. Suddenly, the table beneath his arms trembled violently, sending a cold shock through his veins. Before he could react, a heavy thrashing sound erupted, a vicious struggle in the pitch-black room. Snarls and guttural growls mingled with something more human. A low, desperate moan. Frozen in terror, Murlock groped blindly for his rifle, his mind screaming against the nightmare unfolding around him. With trembling hands, he cocked the weapon and fired into the darkness. For a split second, the rifle's flash illuminated a horrific scene burned forever into his soul. A monstrous, emaciated panther, its eyes wild with hunger, savagely dragging Eliza's body toward the boarded window, its fangs buried deep in her throat. The aftermath. When Murlock awoke, dawn bathed the forest in golden light. Birds sang their careless melodies, indifferent to the horrors of the previous night. Shaking, he staggered toward the table. Eliza's mutilated body lay near the window where the beast had abandoned her. Blood soaked the floor, staining the warped wooden boards. Her broken form told a story of unimaginable struggle. But it was her hands that froze his breath. Her fingers were clenched into fists, pale and stiff, and between her clenched teeth, she held a torn, bloodied piece of the panther's ear. Even in death, she had fought to return to him. Final note. Years later, the cabin still stands, rotting, desolate, and cursed. No traveler dares venture near after dark, for in the quiet hours, locals swear they can hear footsteps within and the echo of a woman's scream, fighting against the darkness that claimed her soul.